Insane. Welcome everybody to God's Prepared Warrior Roundtable Live. And I already said welcome to all of my friends over here on TikTok. And I'm excited for tonight. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. 5x5. All right, good. That is great. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Scott. Thank you for that 5x5. Welcome, Salt Mist. Welcome, JS Genesis Design. Welcome in. Welcome in tonight. Thank you so much. Ricky Praddock. Thank you. He says first time in. Well, welcome, my friend. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are a prepping channel, and this prepping channel just doesn't talk about the stuff, but we talk about the spiritual things that we need to go alongside the stuff that we prep, and that is so important. And so I'm excited to be here with you guys tonight. Salt Mist is in here. Thank you, Salt Mist, for joining me tonight. And glory to Jesus. Ricky says, glory to Jesus. Amen to that, brother. Good. I'm glad you guys are here. So one of the neatest things that I think I do, I don't know if any other channel does it. Of all the channels that I follow on YouTube, I've not seen anybody do this. But I love to share the channel news, because this channel is not because of me. This channel is because of all of you. And so, the more you guys engage, like over here on TikTok, if you click the screen, it gives me those likes and hearts and stuff. And that's good because it pumps this algorithm out further and it brings more people in. And on YouTube, same thing. When you like, share, and subscribe to the channel, you guys are the ones that are doing that. I'm not doing it. You guys just like to follow this crazy looking guy that has good hair, according to TikTok and one of my friends over here. So thank you guys for joining me. Just followed you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, my friend. That's Desiree. Thank you for joining. I am excited for tonight because last week we had a huge uptick in our following, and so that's really cool. So here, let's look at the channel news. YouTube, we're sitting at 828 subscribers today. So over the week from last Monday, we have gained 9 new subscribers. I'm excited about that. TikTok, over here in TikTok world, currently we're sitting at 3,753 followers, and we just gained a few just now. Desiree just said, hey, I just joined. So just followed you. So that's awesome. We have 3,753 followers on TikTok over the week. It's been a slow week. I totally understand why. And we've gained 5 new followers on TikTok. Over in Facebook, we've been stuck at 160 something, for a while now. And, Facebook is a whole different animal of, just people being on there. So we've gained 2 new people from Facebook, which is really awesome. So I'm on Facebook. If you'd like to follow me on Facebook, just look for God's Prepared Warrior on Facebook. I also have a Facebook group. It is called God's Prepared Warrior Community in the groups tab. So go over there, because eventually over there is where you're going to see a whole lot of other stuff that I do that you don't see on regular YouTube or maybe on TikTok, stuff like that. So go over there, and join that. It's free, and you're going to get more stuff. So do that. And then, so on the community page, we're still at 27 people. And so, Facebook is slow. I'm just saying. So if you want to join the Facebook community, go over the groups tab, look for God's Prepared Warrior Community, answer the little questions there, and I will add you to that community. Over on X, we're sitting at 1,052 new followers there. We gained 5 over the week, which was really awesome. Over on Instagram, which is really trailing right now, on to YouTube. Instagram's at 811. We have 16 new followers on Instagram over there this last week. So that brings us to a grand total of 37 new followers on all of our social media. And, that's you guys saying, hey, I like your community. Hey, I like what you're saying. I don't know. You guys tell me. Tell me what you think about the channel. I think that's an important thing. So, if you want to share that in the comments, if you want to, write that or comment on one of my videos on YouTube, do that. I don't mind. I answer all of my comments on all of my social media. It's a little harder on TikTok because there's many people that follow me and are talking to me. So be patient with me there. So that's in the news tonight or this weekend. I am going to be speaking at a prepper event this weekend in a small town close to where I live, and I have been invited to speak on urban prepping, and so I am going to be talking about that this weekend at 2 p.m. With the group. So if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see the posts that I'm posting about that event. And then this week, my plan is to move into talking about urban preparedness. What does that look like for urbanites like myself, and how do we even do that, right? If you have a property and you live, outside in the rural area, that's a totally different way to prep. So I am going to be talking about that here pretty soon, and this week you should see some of those videos coming out there also. So guys, thank you for joining tonight. I have some things in the news I want to share that have actually happened recently, with just in hours of us going live tonight. So you'll be hearing it first here if you haven't seen it yet. So we'll talk about that and all of that good stuff. Glenn says, God's Spirit Warrior, I invited Mike from Celebrating Farm Life over, but they might not be able this week. Don't know yet. Okay, awesome, Glenn. Thank you so much. I would love to meet them, and I've been following their channel too as well. Mike, I got you. No problem. Yeah, that would be awesome. We can bring them on. So let's look at what's in the news, because I think this is important. And guys, you guys can email me. My email address is godspreparedwarrior@gmail.com. I would encourage you guys to email me if you want to ask me any kind of questions, whether it's over any of the videos I posted. Hey, Fernando, I want to learn more about comms. Can you teach me? Yes, I will do that. So send me an email, guys. Watch my videos. If you have any questions, I'll answer you and do that. So Salt Mist and I kind of email back and forth a lot about some of the stuff that's happening in our world, and we're beginning to see a lot of things happening. And so because of that, I want to share a few of those things with you tonight, on top of the stuff that I just kind of recently seen today. So so the first thing I want to share with you guys is that a Republican issues a World War III warning as he announces his retirement. Now, this was posted yesterday. It was updated today, but it was posted yesterday. And so the person that it's talking about is Republican Representative Michael McCall. Also argued about that Vladimir Putin is manipulating Donald Trump. So Texas Republican Michael McCall is warning that America is fast approaching turning point as he prepares to leave Congress after 11 terms. He's been in Congress for a long time. The 63-year-old congressman announced his retirement from the House in an appearance on ABC's Sunday during which he also commented last week's incursion of Russian drones into Poland and argued that Vladimir Putin is manipulating President Donald Trump. And I will say that that is true because, if you speak to Donald Trump and you tell Donald Trump you're going to do something, but then you do the opposite, we know that, yeah, him coming to America was just really for show and for, you know, uh, just for looks, I guess, right? And we've seen how he has been making decisions and doing things differently than what he's been saying. So yeah, I totally believe that Putin is manipulating President Trump, because if you think about it, if I tell you that I'm going to behave and you go back to your people and you say Putin said he's going to behave, and I'll wait a little bit, and then your people will be okay, and they'll turn away from the news. Then I can do this thing, and boom. And so, if you think about it, that's kind of what's been happening. So it says here, after Russia sent at least 19 drones deep into NATO country on Wednesday, Trump appeared to downplay the incident, saying it might have been a mistake. Yeah, right. Come on. We're not done. So just know that this guy is actually leaving. He's retiring, and he is warning us that we are going into a World War III scenario of some kind, right? So I would take that as a warning and a sign that it is important for us to be prepping and continue that prepping and not stopping. Because what is it going to hurt if we prep and then nothing happens? Well, we're okay. We don't have to go to the grocery store for a while, right? We don't have to worry about, water, because it's still working, and, we got, water stored away. So, isn't it better to prep than not prep and needed to have prep if poop hits the fan? Just saying, you know what I mean? think about that for a moment. I think we need to keep doing that and continue to do it. It's let's see, aliens exit. Oh, welcome. It says, hear my words: when the rapture does not happen, do not fret. Christ is coming. Yeah, there's just so many ways that can happen, and nobody really knows, because even Jesus said, I don't even know. Only God knows. So we're prepping just so that we're ready for anything. Thank you for sharing that. Let's see. Scott says hello. Everybody's saying hello to Aliens Exit and Deception. Yes, it is. They are demons. That is correct. Solomon said, God's prepared warrior. I just saw that Russia flew drones over Romania today. Yes, that did happen. I did see that also being reported as well. They scrambled their jets. Yes. Let's see. Yep. So Lynn says no stopping, no shopping, plenty of water and flashlights, and they all work. What's wrong with that? That's right. There's nothing wrong with that. We need to be ready. So that's something for us to kind of really pay attention to while this guy is leaving office. Here's the next one. Israel launches offensive to occupy Gaza City. They're continuing their attacks there in Gaza. They hit another high rise today. So yeah, we need to pray for that situation there and all the people that are being affected by that. It's a pretty tough thing that they're going through. So let's keep them in prayer. Let's keep Israel in prayer, praying that they are following the Lord's plan and not man's plan, right? Let's keep Israel in prayer. I think that's important. Today, 5 men hurt in a mass shooting near I-35 West and Lake Street Station in Minneapolis, police say. So I don't know if you guys were aware of this. This is one of the ones that kind of came out earlier. It is updated today at 7:09. So this happened at 7 o'clock. It says 5 men were injured in a mass shooting today, Monday, in Minneapolis. Oh, I think this was this morning, near a busy interstate. And the chief, Brian O'Hare, said that it happened about 11:10 a.m. East Lake Street and Stevens Avenue. One man was found with a very serious life-threatening injury, and near the transit center, he said. 3 others were suffered survivable injuries. 2 were found inside the transit center, and 1 was found near Stevens Avenue. There was a 5th victim that was grazed by a bullet, and he was found sometime later. And so that happened today, actually. And it shows a video here on the CBS News thing. So, guys, if anything that we have learned, it's important for us to stay vigilant, stay prepared, and to know what's happening around us. Have that situational awareness about us, so that we know what's happening. Not keeping ourselves buried in our phones, and making sure that we are being aware of things that are happening. Thank you, Big Dog, for the glitter badge. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for liking the live stream over there on TikTok. Appreciate that. That actually helps us get it further out. So that happened today, and that's pretty crazy. Guys, you just need to pay attention and be aware. The next piece of news is 2 arrested after an incendiary device was found under a local Fox TV news van in Utah. 2 suspects are in custody after an incendiary device was found under a vehicle belonging to KSTU, a local TV station known as Fox 13 News in Utah. So the incendiary device had been lit but failed to function as designed, according to court records obtained by CNN. So, guys, what is it called? Situational awareness, right? You guys, if you guys have been following me long enough, you guys know that I talk a lot about that. And I mean, think about it. A bomb. It's really what this is. Probably don't want to say that word, but this incendiary device was found under this news van, and it was lit, but luckily it did not go off. So, guys, we are living in dangerous times. Glenn says, I saw on Fox that Trump is trying to get a term limit for the Senate at 12 years and the House at 6 years. Yes, I saw that too. Saltness says, right now the whole world is on fire. Yes, it is. Let's see. Alien Exists says, I was watching a prepper YouTube channel. I will share. The escalation taking place was scary. They have been consistently ahead of the news. Awesome. Well, share that with us. That would be nice. Glenn says, I could get behind that. That would be helpful. I have support. I have support the Convention of States movement for this. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yeah, so a bomb. That's just it's just crazy. So we got to be careful out there. The next one says that um, Trump, Bassett say the U.S. and China have agreed on a TikTok sale. So I heard earlier today from few people talking, they were saying that TikTok is not going to be shut down because they have agreed to a sale. So this talks a little bit about that. They have reached a deal over TikTok, and it would mark a shift in ownership for the widely popular video app and avoid its nationwide ban. So it looks like TikTok is going to avoid the ban and is going to be bought. Um, so, so, but also keep this in mind because it says Trump said he would speak with Chinese leader. I always get his name wrong. Mr. Ping. We'll just call him Mr. Ping on Friday, adding that the agreement over the app is now owned by the Beijing-based tech giant ByteDance. So my only question to that is, isn't that one of the? I could be wrong. Isn't it one of the hacker groups that's hacking the United States? Um, you know, I don't know, but I think I've heard that name before. I don't know. We'll see, right? Um, it says here, I guess they're trying to sell it, right? It says young people in our country are very happy. I wonder if it has to do with the riots that were taking place in, was it Nepal? I think, because of the social media ban. I wonder if that's the reason. Huh, we better not make these kids mad. They just might go nuts on us. I don't know. Be paying attention to that because it looks like it still has to go through China first. Here's the next thing. Three killed in a U.S. Strike on the second alleged Venezuelan drug boat, Trump says. So apparently there was another drug boat that was hit, and the boat contained 11 people, and that was brought out today. So there's another one. It says here that the U.S. forces were, let's see, it says the strike resulted in 3 male terrorists killed in action. He wrote, he is Donald Trump, wrote in a social media post, no U.S. forces were harmed in the strike, but and it's in all caps here. It says, but be warned, if you are transporting drugs that kill Americans, we are hunting you. So stern words there from our president to drug dealers that he is coming for them. So just make note of that. There's a huge war on drugs that are coming into our country. Here's the next one. Iowa lawmakers call for the termination of ISU employees for online comments on Charlie Kirk. So people have been losing their jobs um, because they have been praising the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And not only is that rude and insensitive and just grotesque, but it is immoral. And the reason why you are flipping out and losing your jobs is because you have now showed the world who you really are. And if your job has given you the opportunity to work where you work, it is because you told them that you were able to do so in your resume, in your job interview, and you played a pretty good role. And now, all of a sudden, you are for the violent assassination of people over speech, and now you're showing your true colors. You shouldn't be crying because you lied. And now we're seeing your true colors, and now you're losing your job because of those true colors that are all about you. And so that's my take on that. And, you get coming to you what you do. I totally believe that. When I was growing up, if I did something wrong and I got busted, boy, did I get busted. And my dad would tell me, go do it again. And of course, I'd be like, no, Dad, I ain't going to do that again. I learned my lesson today. So what is happening is supposed to happen. If you're going to be like that, then yeah, maybe you shouldn't have that job, because that's not being a well-rounded citizen. We live in this United States because we're here to love our neighbor. We live together. Sure, we're not the same, but we can work together. Just saying, don't get me on that soapbox, because yeah, consequences. That is right, Salt Miss. That is right. So yeah. Aylin says, my sister-in-law posted a quote out of context. I am looking for it in my heart to forgive, but that doesn't mean I need to let them around my family. That is true. That is true. Very true. It is tricky. Yes. Let's see. So Glenn Anderson says no empathy either. The Bible tells us how to defeat evil. And it says to defeat evil, you do it by doing good. In other words, we who are God-fearing, who obey the Bible, right? Who have those laws given to us from God, we those are our rule, right? And so if the greatest commandment says to love the Lord your God with all of your heart, all of your soul, and all of your mind, other versions say, and with all of your strength. The second is like this. Jesus is talking to the priest of the day who tried to catch him. And he says, the second is like this: love your neighbor as yourself, right? I've always said that you can't do the second part until you do the first part, because if you love God with all of your heart, that means that whatever that thing is that has your heart, if you love God more than that thing, whatever it is, right? For some people, it's a car. For some people, it's their spouse. For some people, it's money. For some people, it's whatever. If you can love God more than that thing, right? That's you loving God with all of your heart. That means that all of your heart you're giving to God. The other one is love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all of your soul, right? That means that you love God more than you love yourself, right? And the next one is with all of your mind. That means that if you can do Matthew 6:33, which says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God," and, if you can put God on your mind and He's on your mind more than anything else, if you're doing those three things, there is no room for self. That means that you are doing those three things, and that God is the most important thing in your life at that point. And then at that point, the lack of love that the lack of the love that we need to love our neighbor, that we can't get on our own, that it only has to come from God, because we have to love God, which removes self, which removes, well, I don't like you because you're different. I don't like you because of this or that. When we love God, we understand that God loves people, and we're loving Him in those three areas. He gives us the love that we lack to love our neighbor. I don't know if you've ever been in a moment of compassion for somebody else. Maybe it was somebody who was in need. Maybe it was somebody on the street corner. I don't know what that looks like for you, but you came across a person and you felt so compelled to help that person, to love on that person, to pray for that person, to give to that, whatever that looked like. That feeling inside of you was because you are in tune with God and you are doing the will of the Father and not your own will. That means that self is out of the picture. God gives us the love that we need to love others because we don't have it on our own. So, with that in mind, um, that is how we love others. You're right. We're not going to want to forgive this kid, right? We're not. Where he's going, they're not going to want to forgive him either. Um, and you know, when I read the Bible, it says, "Vengeance is mine," declares the Lord. And so, if there's any retribution, vengeance, or anything, God is the one that does that, not us. Our job um, is to pray for that individual. It's to pray that God would save his life, right? He would turn his life over and do that thing. So, because we're supposed to love our neighbor. Unfortunately, he's our neighbor. Our neighbor is anyone that we come in contact with. It doesn't need to be the physical neighbor. It can be anybody we meet in the street. So, I've been in conversation a lot this week about compassion and love and how we are to, because Jesus is our example, how we are to be that way. Is it hard? Yes, it's hard. Does Fernando get it all the time? Heck no, I don't. Because it's people, right? People get under our skin. And, um, people people drive us nuts. Let's just be honest. We even have family members that drive us nuts. And, I will tell you, pray for them, love on them. You can love on them from afar. I'm not telling you to go over there and hug them and hold their hand. That would be nice. And it would be probably a change that would probably change their attitude because, hey, you've never done that before. That's new. What's going on? What's wrong with you? Right. Um, you know, love on them, because when you do good, that's how you defeat evil, right? That's how you do it. So, I'll encourage you, um, keep loving family, because um, eventually we're going to need family, right? I was in a conversation just before coming here tonight, because people were asking me, how do I connect with people? And I was sharing with them, it's like religion, right? A lot of people turn away from religion because you'll see people running with the Bible in hand, maybe not physically, but you know, in words or whatever, and they're beating people down with the Word of God rather than encouraging them, lifting them up as the Bible tells us, and loving them to God, right? Um, but they're beating them down with God's Word rather than doing the opposite. So I was in this space, and they were asking me how I do it, and I said, this is how I do it. I look at people with compassion, because when I read the Bible, Jesus, in the New Testament, in the Gospels, it tells us that that Jesus looked at people with compassion. How do people look at people today? Not with compassion. Not if you're driving on the highway. There ain't no love. There's a hand gesture, and there's a hey guys, thanks for the gift, appreciate that. Um, there's a hand gesture, and then there's this loud honk for about an hour, and I will tell you, sometimes that's me. That's how I know, right? Because I'm human. Just because study the Bible, right? Just because I study it and I live it and I talk about it doesn't mean that I have it all the way, because I don't. The Bible says that we are all sinners, and so I'm gonna fail. But I need people like all of you around me to say, Fernando, you fell down. Let's get back up. Let's keep moving forward in God's word, right? And so that's what we're supposed to do. That's how we're supposed to love people. And we defeat evil by doing good. And so just keep doing good. Don't let anybody say, no, I'm not gonna do what you say, or I'm not gonna follow you, or I'm not gonna follow your God because of how you are. I'm never gonna give anybody the opportunity or the foothold or the open door to say, you know what, Fernando, never encouraged me or anything. I encourage anybody. I don't care who you are, what you do. That's my job, is to love people, just like Jesus did, and I'm gonna love them 100% in that way. And if they come around and they say, Fernando, you're different than anybody else, that opens the door then for me to be able to point them to God, right? Because that's the ultimate goal. And it's not to force people in any way, and it's not to condemn them, because Jesus didn't even come to do that. He came to heal the sick, right? And he meant spiritually. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. So I just want to encourage you guys to do that, right? That's how you do it. Hey, Real Thoughts Project, welcome in. Thank you for joining us tonight. You're welcome, Alien Exists. You're welcome. Yes, Psalmist says yes, love them, but still hold accountable. Yes, you have to do that. You are right. You have to hold them accountable. But again, don't go in there swinging the sword. That's what Peter did. Jesus said, Peter, if you live by the sword, you will die by the sword. So just don't do it. Encourage and love. When I think back at Charlie, that's what he did. I probably wouldn't do that, because that would probably make me angry. But God gave Charlie that gift, right? To sit there and talk to the people, and he did it in love. And every time I've seen, because I've been following, and every time I've seen him talking to the kids, it was always in love. Maybe there were a few jabs here and there, but it wasn't like this overt jab that I just sliced you in half, and what are you gonna do? No, it wasn't like that. He was always telling the truth, and he was doing it in love. Let's see, it really was, yeah. And so it's that's how we do it, right? And so I was explaining in this space that this is how you kind of help your numbers grow, is you gotta love people, right? That's why I do the channel news, because this channel, yeah, I've signed up for this channel, and yeah, it has my name on it. It has my handle on it. Yeah, it has all of that. My face is featured on it, right? The videos are made with me in them. But the truth is, that is just a YouTube channel. What makes up the YouTube channel is all the people that come in and join the space. And so I love you guys, and I'm always thankful for you guys. That's why we do the channel news, because I want you to know what you're doing, because I can't do this by myself. And so that's why I do that. So yeah, Alien Exists says I agree. Okay, good. Awesome. Okay. So the the lawmakers are terminating these employees for their online comments, and it's true. If you're going to be like that, then whatever comes out of that is because of what you did. It has nothing else to do with anybody else but what you said, right? It's recorded, your face, your voice, your statement. And so, you learn. And I will tell you, young people, because I'm an old guy, I will tell you, in the business world I'm in the nonprofit world, but prior to that, I was in the business world, and whenever I hired people, I went and did a social media search on everyone I hired, and I used their social media to tell me who they really were, because it's out in the open, right? And so I was able to hire the right people almost 90% of the time, because I didn't choose the people that were like way out there, right? So if you're posting that stuff, it is what you did, right? All right. Here's the next piece of news. The French government collapses after the prime minister loses confidence vote. So French lawmakers voted to oust Prime Minister. Um, I wouldn't even know how to say that guy's name. I'm just going to say Francis because it looks like today. This was today, plunging the country into a new political crisis. Hey guys, thank you for the gifts out there. Appreciate them. Uh, and it's leaving it without government at a time of increasing economic strain and geopolitical tensions. And so right now, France is kind of upside down, and this goes to, this is important to watch. This is one of the things I will say we need to be vigilant to, because France has been gearing up for war. They've been preparing their people, and I think just today there was a article I saw, or another video, another YouTuber showing the video of French troops um, arming everything. They're getting ready for war. They're gearing up for it. They're not just telling their people to scare them. They're actually doing it. And so, um, you know, in the middle of all of that, their government collapses, and so this is an important thing to watch, because there's a lot of things that can happen, um, good and bad, because of this. And so, because of the tension with Russia and Ukraine, you know, it's a bad situation. So, you know, um, Europe wants NATO to get in and have this war, and I'm pretty sure we don't want to do it. And so we're trying to fight Venezuelans on the coast, and so all of this is happening, and this happens to them, and they're just, I think they're in an even more vulnerable spot than where they were before, right? Glenn says, is France ever not upside down? You are right on that, my friend. You are so right. Um, Salt Miss says, yes, me too. So, if you ask me, Fernando, what are you prepping for? I'm going to tell you, I'm prepping for anything, right? You can't be prepared for everything, but you can be ready for anything, right? So, I will always say here that whatever I see in the news like this, I always ask myself, Fernando, would you be prepared for that thing, right? I'm going to go back to the little wins, okay? I have little wins, right? I have been prepping. I just posted my video this morning about MREs. I showed you, I don't know if you guys saw my video, but I showed you guys these MREs that I have here. They're different. This is a humanitarian daily ration, and this one is from the Department of Defense. This is a Department of Defense MRE, and this other one is just MRE brand, which is also from the Department of Defense. So there are a few different kinds of MREs out there. On that video, I posted a bunch of affiliate links that you guys could take advantage of on Amazon for that stuff. I have a stack of it in my my offset pantry, and then I also have freeze dried food that I have also. So I'm going to be talking about that here pretty soon. Also, be showing you guys. And if you noticed, I was in my God's Prepared Warrior studio that I'm still working on. So yeah, I wanted to kind of give you guys a glimpse of that because I'll be moving into that soon, getting out of the living room area here at the house and the kitchen area back there, and where I should be in that space. So, but we need to start prepping ourselves, right? We should be stockpiling food, right? Simple. It's simple. Do it simply, right? Go to the store. You guys. Hopefully, you guys go with the list, and you don't go to the grocery store hungry because, then you're gonna come home with a lot of stuff you really don't need. Um, you know what I mean? You'll be doing chips and cheese dip because that's what Fernando does if he goes hungry. So yeah. So what we did was, I told my wife just get a few extra cans of stuff on top of your grocery list, right? So let's say you're going in for a few things, you come out with a few extra things, right? When I say extra, I mean on top of what you went in for. Hopefully that makes sense. My wife would come home with extra cans. Today, I think we have anywhere from 6 to 9 months of food because of that. And so that's just canned stuff. She started coming home with the bags of rice from Costco. And yes, I know rice and beans are fillers, but you know what? If poop hits the fan and everything goes chaotic and you know whatever scenario you want to play in your brain, right? I always go back to Walking Dead, right? You get to that place and beans is going to sound really good, so will rice. Especially if you're like me and you can make Mexican rice. Oh yeah, it's going to be even better if you have the ingredients, right? If you're stocking them. So we got to keep doing that. We can't stop. We see all of these things that are happening, right? The war over there in Ukraine and Russia, the thing in France, and all this stuff in Europe, and this other place is collapsing because they shut down social media and everybody went ballistic, and you know it was a war zone or whatever. you know um, we're going nuts over here with the stuff that we're dealing with, crazy people, and it's tough, but we have to take care of our own, right? I wear a set of dog tags. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I wear a set of dog tags. And I wasn't in the military. Um, and if you notice, they're green because green is my favorite color. When you guys see my camping bag, you're going to be like, this guy must have been in the military. No, I just love that color. I grew up, my dad was in the military. My grandfather was in the military. I have several aunts and uncles that were in the military. Um, my dad didn't want me to go to the military because he served in Vietnam, and he was in the bad places in Vietnam, and he didn't want his son, even though I wanted to go because Fernando wanted to fly helicopters because I'm like that. I'm crazy like that. And Dad was like, no, I don't want you to go. And so I honored my father, and I didn't go. I stayed and watched all my friends go. And so that was a hard thing for me because I really wanted to serve my country and do my part. So now I do it in different ways. And so yeah. So um, I am prepping on this end, and I'm doing it because I think it's our responsibility to do that. God gives us hands and feet to do things, and if we have that ability, why aren't we using them to help our families, right? And so I am building those things here, and I really want to help you guys do that, and get you into that mode of doing that. You might say, friend, oh, I've thought about it, but I haven't done it. Let's do it. What are we waiting for? You already know what's happening. It, all you got to do is look at last weekend, right? I mean, that for me, if that for me was COVID, but all of these new things, I mean, this should be a hyper thing that moves us in a hyper mode for prepping, that moves us in all of these things, right? Um, Alien Exit says God has other plans for you. He does. He really does. But he also gives us the opportunity to take care of our families, right? We have to be um, good stewards of what God has given us. God has given us family. And so my job as a father, as a husband, is to take care of my family, right? And so, yes, God is going to provide. The Bible also says that, if you work, you eat, right? And so I totally believe that God has given me strength to do these things, and I need to do them so that I can help prepare for my family. So if anything goes wrong, guess where my family's coming? They're coming here. Have they prepared? No. This is why I'm working double time, so that I'm able to provide for them, right? Because there are going to be people who are going to say you're crazy, but eventually, like in Noah's time, right? God told him to build the ark, and he did it. People, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? It hasn't rained. There's no such thing as rain here. What do you mean, right? And then when it rained, guess what those people did? They went running to Noah. God had already closed the door, and they were knocking on the door. Open the door, let us in. We don't want to drown. God has um, given us things in our life that we need to be good stewards of them. And so whatever that is, you take care of that, because that's your responsibility. And that's how I look at it. We've been given that responsibility. Yes, God does have plans for us. My plan was to do a whole different thing when I was younger. But God said, no, Fernando, you're going to go this way, and you're going to do what I want you to do. And I did. Did I fight him? Oh, yeah, I did. Did I win the fight? Sure didn't, because I didn't do what I thought I was going to do. And I actually did what I didn't want to do. But that was God's plan. And I'm okay with that, because I look back at everything and I'm like, man, was I just not thinking, right? So yeah, Noah was the first part. He sure was. He sure was, Glenn. You got that right. He was the first prepper. I saw what did I see? Oh, I saw this. It was a I don't know what you call them. I forget. They used to be in a newspaper, a comic, right? I saw a comic, and it was an anteater. And so, okay, so they're on the boat, and Noah is kind of like in a half doorway, and he's leaning on it with a piece of paper and a pen, and it says complaint department right inside the boat, and it's an anteater, and the anteater in the little bubble above his head says, and why did you only bring 2 ants on board? The anteater, get it? I saw that today and it made me laugh. And I thought about prepping when I read that. And I'm like, yeah, we need to prep more than just 2 items. I thought that was funny. I don't know if you guys think that's funny, but I thought it was funny. The anteater is telling Noah, you only brought 2 ants? Yeah, so funny things. You're absolutely right, Glenn. He's laughing over there. That is hilarious. So yeah, I mean, there is just too much stuff happening in our world, and it's like in the space that I was just talking with earlier. We if you don't have the right tools on you, you need to have the right tools on you. We can no longer be without tools. I'm just gonna say it that way. Um, because just think of the weekend, and today's Monday, and all of the events that happened today. And you have to ask yourself, if that thing happened where I am right now, would I be ready for that situation? You might be in your home and you might have all of those tools with you at home, but are you in the vicinity of that tool, or do you need to run to the room to get it, or wherever you put that tool, right? Um, are you ready, right? We say we build bug out bags, and those bug out bags are for us to grab and go. If you're doing that, is your bug out bag complete? Um, is that complete, or are you um, not? You're not complete, right? I think that's just something for us to think about, and I think you guys, comment, in the comment after this or in a video, and let's start talking about how are we going to get ready. I think we need to move into a mode of let's put our plan together, right? Like for example, I'll use myself as an example. My my pantry is disorganized. It needs to be organized, and the offset pantry or store is also unorganized, and they need to be organized, right? It needs to be this well-oiled machine where first in, first out, and we're building on that pantry. Are you doing that, right? And let's start talking to each other and saying, you know what, this week I plan to prep this thing, or this week I'm going to be working on this project. And I would say let's start building that plan. Let's not think about it on a day-to-day basis, but let's plan it out, right? We're in September, and we're halfway. Today's the halfway. We just got into September, and we're halfway through the month already. What have we done since the first? Be honest with yourself. And if you can say, you know what, I do need to catch up, then let's start talking about it. Let's start talking about it. Let's start building a plan, and let's see how much more we can do before the end of the year. I'm going to challenge you guys. I'm going to work on some of the things that I got to work on here, and I'm going to challenge you guys to continue to prep. I'm going to post up. I was going to do it yesterday, but I didn't. I have a new item that my wife bought me, and tonight, before I go to bed, I am going to post that video on Shorts, on Reels, and on TikTok. And it's something that she bought me, and you're not going to see it in the video, but you're probably going to be able to guess what it is and what I'm doing. And so if you see it, comment on it and tell me what you think it is. And because that's going to be the next video that I do of that thing. And so, all of the stuff that I show you guys, I buy it myself. I don't have nobody sending me anything. So, we get all that stuff ourselves, and I'm doing it because I'm not waiting for anybody to give me things. I'm wanting to prep for me and my family, and so I'm doing this as I can. I'm not a rich person, but I am going to strive to do better in everything that I do. So, guys, I'm going to leave you with that because we have come to the hour. And thank you guys for joining me tonight. And I'm so excited that you guys were here with me and hung out with me. Thank you for all of you friends and family on TikTok, here on YouTube also. And you are welcome. Hey, Vision, welcome. You guys are welcome. And like I said, guys, reach out to me, send me an email. Tell me if you need help with something. Maybe I can help you with an idea. And just say a prayer for me for this weekend, because I will be attending this prepper meet, and I'm going to be talking about urban preparedness and what does that look like. And I'm not nervous. I just want to make sure that I'm able to hit everything and help people in that way. So that's just my goal. I want to help people. So reach out to me if you have any questions at godspreparedwarrior@gmail.com. And let's start up a conversation, and have a great night, guys. I hope you get some rest tonight, and see you on the next video. Oh, one more thing before I leave. I've been this week. I have to go to work super early in the morning, super early. That's why I did the video last night. So I won't be doing a video tonight for the morning. I'll pick up back on Wednesday. So if anything, I'll post that video on Reels tomorrow, and whatever else comes out in the news, you know, I'll post that. So yeah. So, all right, guys, have a great night. See you on the next video. God bless. I'm praying for all of you. Remember, stay vigilant, stay prepared, because we need to take care of your families. God bless, guys. See you on the next video.